Hi, my name is Walter Ness, and this is Barbara Brent, and this is Marty Levin. Have you ever picked up a book that inspires your life? Oh, this is a book that inspired my life. I wrote this book. I wrote this book as a challenge to students who really aren't into poetry but need to be inspired by words. There's a lot of things in this poem that not only will challenge you, but you can not only read it, but you can interpret some of the poetry. The trick is you have to kind of like decide where the poem starts and when the poem ends. It's 134 pages of poetry, poem after poem. Some are one line, some are two lines, half a page, one page. Here's an example of one of them. I just want to let you guys know that I have been abducted by the Borgs, so I have been assimilated. We all have an innate ability to create an artwork of our personality. Time will decide if our ambition is to be a sculptor or a chiseler. So moving away from that, what does it take to be a sculptor? If you're a chiseler in the person you want to create, you won't notice that you're a chiseler. You probably think you're doing just fine. But a sculptor will read books, try different things, have many different experiences. So this is an example of how you can take something out of the book and elaborate on it. For me, to be a sculptor, I feel I have to be aware of my emotions and feelings, and I don't judge my feelings. It's just a feeling. If I don't like it, I can change it. Then you make a choice of duration. Do you want to feel something for a long duration or a short duration? There's amplitude. You can feel something strongly or a little bit less. Time will decide if you want to be a sculptor or a chiseler.
I've chosen some poems from this book that I'd like to read to you. And here's one. If you can't find a way, have the way find you. Chasing after bliss is overrated. It's like loving someone you never dated. Alcohol, as an aphrodisiac, will not make things happen quicker if they like to drink liquor. Staying in the corner 8 hours a day, it's no longer school, but it feels that way. I'm neither here nor there. I'm hung up on where. When you create your own ease, the past and future are just a breeze. Tied to your phone, tied to your wheels, how you think doesn't explain how your feelings become real. First you cry, then you laugh, wonder what's coming in the second half. First you cry, then you laugh, wonder what's coming in the second half. It was the worst of times, it was the best of times. Mostly it was a waste of time. When the ice melts, rivers start to flow. I can drown you with my feelings, or you can let me stay cold.
So Marty is a performer, and I'm going to read parts of the poem or short poem, and he's going to perform it out, act it out. So Marty, go ahead, get up.
But first you're going to just read it.
To be or not to be. The devil can only sell you what you can get for free. Words have meaning, words have power, wasted minutes add up to wasted hours become wasted days at the same location can turn into a long vacation. To be or not to be. The devil can only sell you what you can get for free. Words have meaning, words have power, wasted minutes add up to wasted hours become wasted days at the same location can turn into a long vacation. Thank you. So this is an example of what you can do with this poetry. You can read it and somebody else can perform it. Every person that I see carries greatness around them. Once in a while, I come across a person who allows greatness to carry them. It's in this book. What makes that poem so amazing is a lot of people that I meet are frustrated. They have greatness around them, but they don't allow the greatness, the genius of their being to take over and show itself to the world. They're trying to make it happen. It's like they're in conflict with the actual talent that they have inside of them.
And here's the next poem I chose. What's okay? What's not okay? Your mindset determines your mood of the day. It looks and feels weird before it becomes the norm. A new way is best appreciated after a storm. It's all good. It's all terrific. Things in life don't have to be perfect. You want to stop your life being bland. Give your neighbor a helping hand. Life is short. Time lasts forever. Anything bitter can be turned into better. Things look nice. Things look delicious. Make yourself a list of wishes. Wish what you want to come true. The sky's the limit, the color blue. A moment can be great, memory of it precious, when life grants you what you are wishing. At times, life is quiet. At times, it is noisy. Psychodrama happens when you get too nosy. Signs along the highway offering good deals you want to believe. Promises sound like they are for free. You hope that's the way it can be. Some things can be priced beyond belief.
So Marty chose the next one on page 2. It sure is a nice day. It's raining, the wind is howling. When I look inside, I see myself smiling. When I laugh, I feel so jolly. I can see how seriousness can be pure folly. So Martin will now perform that. It sure is a nice day. It's raining. The wind is howling. When I look inside, I see myself smiling. When I laugh, I feel so jolly. I can see how seriousness can be pure folly. That was excellent. One of the things I don't like to write is poetry of angst and misery. I know it happens in real life. So in this book, I have a statement, a poem. Why am I on the lookout for good things? I've had a difficult life. I don't need a refill. It's like when I go to a coffee shop and I order coffee and they say, would you like a new mug with that? I tell them, no thanks. I like the face I have. Am I suffering because of the problems I have or because of the problems I refuse to have? I'll tell you how this poem showed up. Because I teach there are two different ways you can write poetry. I teach poetry made easy. Basically, you learn how to pay attention of how content shows up in your brain. And when it shows up, if you like it, you write it down. Now, neuroscience has proven that if you have an emotional problem and you go into another room, the problem disappears. So something resets itself. It makes a lot of sense that when you are entering a cave, you want your brain to reset and notice everything in case there are animals there that could attack you. Am I suffering because of the problems I have or because of the problems I refuse to have? I was at a poetry reading where the person was reading poetry about other people's poetry. And when I was leaving, I had one foot in the store and one foot outside the store. And those words, am I suffering because of the problems I have or because of the problems I refuse to have showed up? I said, what a great poem. So I wrote it down. So I'm taking credit for writing it, but it just showed up. A lot of great artists will tell you it just shows up and I write it down. Some musicians have their tape recorders on all the time, just in case they hit some new chords or new sounds or new lyrics, and they don't want to miss it because it shows up, then it disappears, and then all of a sudden, what happened to it? I wanted to know, did that poem come from my subconscious, or did it come from something else? Then I remembered a friend of mine who was always complaining and how she wanted to leave her job. And I was her support system. I would encourage her, yes, you can do it. You can leave. You can find a different way. She called me one day and she said, I've left my job. I learned how to drive. I got a new car. I'm moving to another state to a new job. She didn't say thank you for supporting me, so I primed it. I said, where did you get the strength to actually do all these things? And she said, somebody showed up at work and made my life so miserable that I had to leave. Now when someone is looking for a new life, new position, I tell them, don't worry about it. Sooner or later, someone will show up and make your life so miserable, you will have no choice but to leave it and find a new way. People don't like me saying that, but that's the reality of it. Am I suffering because of the problems I have, or because of the problems I refuse to have?
We become different people depending on who we talk to. We are rooms with many sides, pretending to be only one character. Some look in the mirror for vanity, others for reflection. Inaction is another way to take action. Someday you will see on the outside the person you feel you are deep inside. Words will escape your lips. Where have you been? Telling lies so they sound true is not complicated. Opposites are always related. In life, it helps if you are sweet. Not too sweet, just sweet enough. You don't always have to be nice. Maturity comes at a price. If you're not able to say no, learn how to say can't. We often change roles, saint to sinner, sinner to saint. The reason we keep on moving and don't look back, nobody wants to see the monkey on their back. Your apartment is cluttered with stuff. Give the stuff away as presents. Disguise your garbage as valued treasure.
That was very good.
Well, thank you. You wrote it.
I know. I just love it. I love it. I mean, I like the lines, the words, because it's philosophy. It's about each poem, each line in a poem is about how do you want the words to fit? How do you relate to the words? How do you want to articulate it? And so those words are kind of important. It's like you're studying words in poetry. So Marty will perform the next one. Downstairs is upstairs on the other side of the world. I know that the world is round because half the people live upside down. Simple are pleasures when choices are few. Too many options and you don't know what to do. I mean, I grew up in a poverty-enriched environment. So we had few choices, but it was easy to make because you usually had one choice. So when you have too many choices, too many options, and you don't know what to do, you're looking inside of me for someone you cannot find. There's more to me than what's on your mind if you're willing to spend the time. When you think you're right, you could be wrong. Too many people have gone under thinking they were strong. So Marty and I will perform the same lines of poetry. Downstairs is upstairs on the other side of the world. I know that the world is round because half the people live upside down. Simple are pleasures when choices are few. Too many options, and you don't know what to do. You're looking inside of me for someone you cannot find. There's more to me than what's on your mind if you're willing to spend the time. When you think you are right, you could be wrong. Too many people have gone under thinking they were strong. The great thing about performing poetry that you write, and you know it's performance poetry, you don't want to take it too seriously. You just want to enjoy the fact that you are performing it. I got a job in the mental health field as a residential counselor. And people were saying, be careful, you don't want to pick up what they have, as if mental illness was a disease. Well, if you have high mirror touch synesthesia, like in my case, I happen to be a clairvoyant psychic, I can not only feel the mental illness in other people, but I can bring it inside of me and experience it and have it disappear, since I wasn't identifying with it. The thing that surprised me about trying to help people who feel very turbulent, the turbulence makes them feel real. So there's no way that you can actually help them out unless they learn how to appreciate calmness and quiet. Do you hear voices? I bet you do. You're hearing my voice. These are the words I heard spoken in a high school by a teacher. Given enough time and a typewriter and hitting the keys at random, a monkey is capable of reproducing all the works of Shakespeare. Being young and impressionable, I went to the zoo, found a monkey cage, and I asked the residents to help me express my wild and turbulent emotions. Monkeys being monkeys, they started screaming, yelling, jumping up and down. They went into a huddle. Finally, one of them came out, a representative, and said to me, we'd like to be able to help you out, but can't. We're just too busy doing Shakespeare. So you hear when you are a young person things that sound really absolutely stupid, and you don't know how to make a comeback because the bigger people seem to have more authority. But when you grow up to be as big as they are, sometimes some creative impulse will rebel against what you heard and create poetry, create songs, create stories, create paintings, create sculpture. All you need is that one moment to say, hey, wait a minute. I'm going to say something about what I heard that was bullshit and express it differently.
You can spot deception when you have perception. Play it cool when you're getting fooled. Lack of reaction allows you to mobilize for a strong action. If someone is trying to make you into a spitting image of themselves, you are too close to their lips when they talk. If it's not your scene, take a walk. The most influential person in your life should be you. The first self you get to know is behave yourself.
Behave yourself.
The best self is be yourself. I'm feeling good. Pass it on. Be the ripple that starts the wave. Being part of the flow is a good way to behave. There are those who know. There are those who know better. They can speak it in words or write it in a letter. I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. One answer for the meaning of life provides cheap thrills. I can doesn't mean I will. One answer for the meaning of life provides cheap thrills. I can doesn't mean I will.
She was a beauty. I was a beast. Arrgh! She needed taming. What a twist. She was a beauty. I was a beast. Arrgh! She needed taming. What a twist. Where did this poem come from? I met a lot of women who are very beautiful, but they've also learned how to be subservient. They would never know, they don't know how to disagree. They were always saying yes when they wanted to say no. And their solution was to find some really tough guy, somebody that was just like somebody in the Beauty and the Beast. So she could learn to say no, so she could learn how to be tough. So this is what she wanted to be tamed. Not to be a nicer person, because she was a nicer person already. She wanted to be tamed to be more like the more assertive individual so she could find her own freedom. So Marty will now perform this. She was a beauty. I was a beast. Rah! She needed taming. What a twist. She was a beauty. I was a beast. Rah! She needed taming. What a twist. I wanted to write a poem that people would like, but wouldn't necessarily understand it. So I did that, and I read the poem, and afterwards a woman came by and she said, I love the poem, but I had no idea what you were talking about. So I succeeded. Test dummy has no mummy, lives just for the crash. The impact animates it, the animation breaks it. They only want to study you, then it's back again to crash. The three monkeys got tired of being flunkies. Hear, see, speak no evil. They decided to evolve. Who am I? Where am I? Why am I here? The answers are ambiguous. Life remains continuous. Test dummy has no mummy. Lives just for the crash. Feels alive when animated. Survival is appreciated. They only want to study you. Then it's time again for crash. Monkey see, monkey do. If two monkeys look at each other, do they just stand still? Now, the test dummy has no mummy. The idea came in from people that I have met that lived in the streets. They were homeless. And no one made an effort to help them out. But if they became ill, they would fall down. An ambulance would show up. They would be taken to the hospital. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent to make them well, to be put back on the street again. Test dummy has no mummy, just lives for the crash. The impact animates it, the animation breaks it. They only want to study you, then it's back again to crash. Speak no evil. Hear, see, speak no evil. That seemed kind of like, really old-fashioned. It's like, isn't it more important, instead of seeing what's wrong with you, to start noticing of like, who am I, where am I, why am I here? I noticed the fourth monkey speaks no evil. Makes sense. Whatever happened to the fourth monkey? How did think no evil escape notice? It's never mentioned. But isn't this what therapy is about and the medicine they want to give him? People think thoughts that are actually, they feel improper or bad for them. But it's never mentioned in poetry, and I'll tell you why. Because the sound of three things actually are more dynamic in articulation than to include four things. Stupid reason, but that's the reason.
I decided to get a BA degree to be all I could be. But a degree doesn't tell you who you should be. Should I be a this? Should I be a that? A degree doesn't tell you who you should be. They say I should get a job. I should work things out. But I don't want a job that's a manager. I want to feel my best. A life that's not too fast. I don't want a job that's a manager. There's always higher education. Should I give up my dream vacation? Living life is a peculiar kind of art. You always wind up where you have to start. Those with a degree in critical thinking, when they talk, you never see their eyes blinking. I prefer a more quiet mental diet. A teardrop falls, dropping its defenses. That's how you take chances. You drop your defenses. Sunlight through the leaves, water upon the shore. Make a wish and follow it, and life will give you more. Follow every path. Enjoy where you're at. Dream of success, digress. Focus on your goals, remorse. Embrace a new career, oh dear. The future looks so bright, my eyes. Don't give a sucker an even break, mistake. Follow the golden rules, stay cool. People who know better are less sadder than the ones who know but don't know any better.
This sure is a nice city. People here are very witty. Every local scene hits the spot. Knowing what you got, that's really hard. If you know who you are, then you know who you're not. Reach for the moon. Reach for the stars. When you come down to earth, don't land too hard. This is all a magical dream. You know what I mean? Is it still magical if I scream, ah? I give up. Give me some options. I need something to get me up. I give up. Give me some options. I need something to get me up. You know, the thing that's interesting about this particular series of poems, it talks about mysticism. It talks about worldly affairs of people being told you can reach for any dream you want, reach for the moon, reach for the stars. And sometimes you have to come down to earth to realize that maybe your gifts and abilities are in a different directions. So you scream. This is all a magical dream. But is it magical to people that have to scream and say, hey, I have to find a different way because this way doesn't work. Ultimately, what you're looking for will work. Okay, you're on. This sure is a nice city. People here are very witty. Every local scene hits the spot. Knowing what you got, that's really hard. If you know who you are, then you know who you're not. Reach for the moon. Reach for the stars. When you come down to earth, don't land too hard. This is all a magical dream. You know what I mean? Is it still magical if I scream, ah? I give up. Give me some options. I need something to get me up. I give up. Give me some options. I need something to get me up. I see many artists being interviewed, and many will say, the content, the information just shows up. And reporters generally don't want to hear it. What they want to hear is, well, I was struggling. I was doing whatever I could to have the words show up. Sometimes the words show up in seconds, like the following poem. I was standing or walking behind somebody, and the words just showed up. I had to run past him, grab a piece of paper, and write it down because I didn't want the content to disappear. It's two parts in it. You have to play two different parts. You found yourself at the end of the line. Well, what else is there to find? Everyone knows about the grind. I beseech you, let me reach you. Everybody knows about the pain. It only hurts if you hold it in. Let me remove it. Let me reach in. Everybody knows about the price. Please observe. I only live so I can serve. Let me in beyond the flash. I only want to remove the trash. If you feel empty, You can be filled. If you're full of yourself, that too can be a thrill. I beseech you, let me reach you. Everyone who plays a toy. You want to be a girl or do you want to be a boy? It only hurts if you hold it in. Let me remove it. Let me reach in. Everyone knows about the grind. Everyone knows about the pain. Everyone knows about the price. Please observe. I only live so I can serve. Let me in beyond the flash. I only want to remove the trash. You found yourself. What else is there to find?
Do I believe in God? I don't have to. God believes in me. I'll let you be if you let me be. There are many ways to see. Pray if you want to be moved in mysterious ways. Drink prune juice if you just want to be moved. Every person that I see carries greatness around them. Occasionally I see someone who allows greatness to carry them. You have a right to your own point of view. It may be hard to accept something new. The structure of reality is like Jell-O. It will take any shape you want it to. There's pleasure in moderation. The meaning changes from generation to generation. Notice your reactions. Notice how people use displeasure to create complaining pleasure. An inquisitive mind asks questions. A learned mind holds on to answers, but not so harshly that one answer cannot replace another. Repair what needs to be fixed. Life is a bag of tricks. The eyes are the door to the soul. Do you know the color of their eyes? Can you see through that door? You got everyone upset at you. No matter the situation, everyone deserves some level of stimulation. Driving bumper to bumper, it's like smelling someone's behind. If someone stops unexpectedly, it won't be fun. Virtual paranoia, your computer is out to get you. Virtual reality, one day it does. Every great civilization goes from ignorance to knowledge, followed by an explosion of nonsense. May I join you translated means, may I enjoy you. Simple living, that's the ticket. Make a difference in your life. Subtract something. Everyone loves fables. Life will do you right when it's able. The objective of existence is human life, not human misery. Put a smile on your face. Change the view of your own history. Never push a person into a corner because they will have no place to go except right into your face. Conflict means you need another point of view or to live at some other place.
Now, Marty is a professional clown, so once a clown, always a clown. What other profession offers you such a lifetime guarantee? I like telling jokes wherever I am, setting up for people for humor. Envy. Wish you had someone else's problems instead of your own. If your ambition in life is to change the world, you will need a big diaper. So Marty and I will perform that. And you can do more of your clown stuff too. So once a clown, always a clown. What other profession offers you such a lifetime guarantee? Isn't it great? He could be at work, somebody says, "You're acting like a clown," and that would be a compliment. Envy. Wish you had someone else's problems instead of your own. If your ambition in life is to change the world, you will need a big diaper. Barbara laughed at that one, but a lot of people laugh at that one. So one of the things that happens to creative people is content shows up. Sometimes it's just one line, but it says, hey, maybe you can make something out of this. So the line that showed up was, this sucks, this really sucks, this sucks, this really sucks, this sucks, this really sucks. And I'm thinking, wow, what everybody at work is thinking. You're being given stuff that you don't want to do. You don't think it's going to be a waste of your time. It doesn't profit humanity or people. So a song came out of it. Dropped a thought in my head to see the ripples it creates. Paid my dues. Where's the door? I want to go through and find a more. Got your interest. Where's your heart? Let's connect like two dots. Passion is an elective. I'd rather have a choice, be selective, have my say, use my voice. You can't hear me? There's too much noise. I blend in like the walls. I disappear and it shows. Morning wakes me every day. Got to get up. What the hey? In the mirror, I see a face. Wonder what it's trying to say. I got a job. I'd rather work on things that matter. What a joke. The hands on the clock get through the day going in circles. What the hey? Got opinions? Let's share some time. Words can flow just like wine. An honest conversation can send life in a new direction. Got your interest? Where's your heart? Let's connect like two dots. So there's two ways of listening. You listen with your ears, but if you are aware of the energy in your heart, the chi energy in your heart, you listen with compassion and you have greater understanding of meanings. So, got opinions? Let's spend some time. Words can flow just like wine.
You came into the world like a star. You cried out loud. Baby crying in the cradle will rock the world, will rock the world when able. New to the world, new to the scene. If you can't tell where you are going, just tell them where you've been. Father's child, mother's baby. It might be you who just maybe will find a new way. Leave a sign. Others will say of you, you rocked the world just fine. We are given life to squander as we please. We are ridiculed for our actions when young, and we ridicule ourselves when we are old. When we stand before the Almighty to be judged, there will be nothing left worth condemning. I cannot be the judge of who I am, as I was made in the image of God. As to who I pretend to be, that's up to others to misinterpret.
The next set of poetry was inspired by people complaining about their lovers. Why can't they be this? Why can't they be that? And, if you hear it enough times and you are creative, instead of going along with it or disagreeing with it, you decide to turn it into an art piece. The man on the mountain looks mighty tall. The man on the bottom, very small. You put them side by side, there's no difference at all. Don't you worry about all the wrong things. You never know what the day will bring. When I have moods, I expect them to swing. I love to dance, I love to sing. I'm touchy-feely with a great big heart. I want a lover that knows how to play their part. I want to love their part. So Marty will now perform that. The man on the mountain looks mighty tall. The man on the bottom, very small. You put them side by side, there's no difference at all. Don't you worry about all the wrong things. You never know what the day will bring. When I have moods, I expect them to swing. I love to dance, I love to sing. I'm touchy feeling with a great big heart. I want a lover that knows how to play their part. I want to love, 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 love their part. A lot of times inspiration is about, hey, I can say that better. I can say it differently. I can put more emotionality behind it. One of the things that has been eluding me was strong emotionality in reading or performing. And I would notice that my girlfriend would sometimes get me upset, and I had no trouble being loud and vocal. And one day I caught it, that if you actually tighten the muscles inside of your throat, you start sounding louder and louder. So I can say, when you are young, if life nudges you, the nudge will be strong. Traveling will feel cool, like knowing how to play pool. Now, if I take that and tighten the muscles inside my throat, when you are young, if life nudges you, the nudge will be strong. Traveling will feel cool, like knowing how to play pool. So when people get really intense about reading something or performing something, it has to do with the tightness inside their throat. And so I practice by say, when you are young, when you are young, when you are young, and when you are young. It's my way of calming myself down, knowing that all I have to do is calm the muscles of my throat, and instead of being intense with my vocalization, I become a calm person. It's round. It could be infinitely small or infinitely large. If you know the size of the diameter, you can figure out the size of the radius. That allows you to figure out the size of the circumference. And that, my friend, is how you make a point. I love that because I see so many different arguments that people have with logic. And this is just pure nonsense to say, well, that's how you make a point. You can take a pen or a pencil and make a point. It's just a round piece of circumference. Jack met Jill. It was quite a thrill. They got into a fight when he asked to spend the night. Jack was nimble, Jack was quick, but Jill wanted more than a candlestick.
Feelings can be a treat where ideas and sensations meet. Take it easy or be in a hurry. Enjoy a smile or be worried. Clothes drying on a rack, time to get problems off your back. Are you wondering where the answer's at? You start learning when it's your turn at the bat. Wishes are fulfillments waiting in the distance. You'll get what you need if you don't give it resistance. Now and again repeats itself, but you don't know when. Forget-me-not means remember me well. That which is deep is not shallow. You can think twice if you know how to think. Insights show up when your brain puts together all the missing links. It's easier to see what might have been. What's impossible can happen, even if at first it cannot be seen. Desire is refreshed every time you pray. Inner dialogue is a silent way to have your say. Zigzagging is allowed when it's your turn and you don't want to get burned.
There's a spider who likes to two-step too. He's got a web of lies trying to catch some flies. Don't get distracted by what is said. Just move on right ahead. If the road looks long, take a song along. A horse has all the moves, using clogging shoes. The sound is like tap dancing. The motion is smooth prancing. A mouse is a high squeak. to scare both the strong and the meek. Maybe it's saying, please, can I have a piece of cheese? The dog went up a hill to meet a boy named Bill. The dog's tail was wagging, hoping to get a petting. Okay, this is a long one. Let's see what you can do. There's a spider who likes to two-step too. He's got a web of lies, trying to catch some flies. Don't get distracted by what is said. Just move on right ahead. If the road looks long, take a song along. A horse has all the moves using clogging shoes. The sound is like tap dancing. The motion is smooth prancing. A mouse has a high squeak to scare both the strong and the meek. Maybe it's saying, please, can I have a piece of cheese? The dog went up the hill to meet a boy named Bill. The dog's tail was wagging, hoping to get a petting. Yay! This next poem was inspired by slackers. So for all you slackers out there, you will probably enjoy hearing the words being spoken. I once saw a commercial where an artist said, if you're an artist, you can get up at noon. You don't have to get up any earlier. People say that I must change, exchange my life for a working day. Their advice is kind of sad, but it gives me another reason to stay in bed. I'd rather when my day is over that I spent it underneath the covers. In this world of work and strife, everyone wants a slice of life. I slept with my female Amazon all night long. When I woke up, she was gone. She wakes up early to hold the job she loves dearly. When she gets home, I'm fresh and rested. She is tired. Her mind is wasted. Pay your bills, pay your taxes, read the emails, send out faxes. Your fast living might seem sad, but it gives me another reason to stay in bed. You might enjoy my situation if you weren't caught up in your own hallucinations. A day is wasted when it's over. I prefer a life underneath the bed covers. All desire is reaction. Staying in bed gives me satisfaction. We all die in due time. I sleep till the dew dries. You can't enjoy leisure when you're dead. Oops, I just found another reason to stay in bed.
If it's not the truth, then you are a liar. If I can get your thoughts for a penny, why should I pay $1? We are little points in the middle of the night, creating sparks of light. It might not mean much in the scheme of things, but there's enough of us to light up the sky. Points of light with different views make you wonder how we get what we choose. Germs thrive on emotional letdown, but nothing lives off of me because I never get down. Ambience fills up the place like a mist. If you enjoy the vibes, you will be pleased. If not, you will be pissed. When I was a child, I spoke and thought as a child. When I was an adult, I thought as an adult. One day I realized, hey, I have a better time thinking like a child. I bring good news, my friends, of a new way, a new path. Unless you want to travel a different road, once you commit to your choice, sold.
This is a lot of fun. I just saw God. He was offering me the 10 Commandments. I was hoping that laugh at it means we have 10 more minutes to go. So let me read the last part of the poem, which is has a certain flavor for me, and Marty will perform it as a surprise. Conversation. Words pretending to be what they are not. If not for a dictionary, they might have gotten away with it. We read each other like a book. Here's hoping things work out as good as they look. We write what we can and hope the grammar is useful. When someone reads what we wrote, we can feel quite boastful. Editorial comment. I'd love to give you credit, but my job is edit. Your name was removed, the work given a new groove, turned into a soundbite. I like what you write. Okay, here's a challenge for you. Conversation. Words pretending to be what they are not. If not for a dictionary, they might have gotten away with it. We read each other like a book. Here's hoping things work out as good as they look. We write what we can and hope the grammar is useful. When someone reads what we wrote, we can feel quite boastful. Editorial comment. I'd love to give you credit, but my job is to edit. Your name was removed, the work given a new groove, turned into a soundbite. I like what you write. I'd like to thank Barbara Brandt here for being part of this. She actually did a lot of editing of the book. And Marty, who I have known and seen him perform, and his brilliance at it. So here's something that I'm really good at, is making comebacks. So when I walked by, you gave me a sneer. You brightened me up because you thought of me, my dear. How many times has this happened to you in real life? Somebody sneers. And you don't have to get upset. You can say, hey, you brighten. When I walked by, you gave me a sneer. You brightened me up because you thought of me, my dear. Beautiful poem as a response to it. I felt sensations in my tummy, a hunger to read books. How wonderful to feel such an appetite, yearning to digest words. How yummy to experience such delight in my tummy. If it's not one thing, it's the other. Fix the worst problem that bother, only to find it has a twin brother. Problems are like cousins. Get rid of one, here comes another dozen. I grew up in a poverty-enriched environment. We could only afford pie in the sky, hoping one day to reach that high. I grew up in a poverty-enriched environment. I came up with that because I grew up in Poland. I came here when I was 11 years old. And when I told people we were poor, outdoor toilet, no running water, had to go to a well, I don't like the way people reacted. So I said, I grew up in a poverty-enriched environment. And I notice people get jealous, as if my poverty is better than theirs. It's a joke I like. Do you like trees? And somebody says, yeah. And I says, 3, 1, 2, 3. Some people like that joke, some people don't. Stupid things happen everywhere, all the time. Nature must be kept in balance. One can be more fun. 1 and 1 is 2. See what the other one can do for you. All quiet sensations in your body to feel you are somebody. Inner certainty is a point of view in your own favor. It's worth savoring. This book is full of stuff like that. I want to prove that people can randomly pick the best choices of this poetry book and turn it into a performance play. You can sing it, you can dance to it, you can do performance to it. It's It's the book that has been printed by Harvard bookstores. And I tell people, buy two. One to read and one to put on the wall because it looks that good. The painting is by Linda Clave, a local artist, friend of mine. I just wanted to give her more exposure. I intend to make this poetry book very accessible to a lot of people by showing them how much fun they can have presenting it, performing it, elaborating on what the comments say. The name of the book is called A Long Poem by Walter Ness, because it just keeps going and going and going and going. So it was really good. It's out of Harvard bookstores in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's next to the Harvard University. I thought you already got one. Guys, one more? 10 more minutes?